Instagram going. And then we'll start live.
Yep. Let's start it up.
Okay, it's live, I think. We'll just have a few people come in and join. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Second connection. 3. Exciting. 2. Okay, I think we're live on Instagram. We're live. Leah, just be careful when you tilt in. We're like all stay in the same position, so we're all in it. And then this is rolling.
Hi everyone.
We have people starting
Thank you
to
for
join.
joining us.
All right. I don't know if we have anybody on quite yet. 5 people, 6 people. Okay. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to wait a couple minutes, or do you want
No,
to
I
start?
think we start entertaining anyone who's watching, or not entertaining, but discussing with.
Okay. So why don't we start by introducing ourselves, saying who we are.
Yeah, and what we're doing here, maybe.
Exactly.
If anyone's watching, it's Plastic Square Jar Challenge Week. Welcome to it. We're doing a little panel to discuss how our process has been thus far, the challenges we faced, the things that we've learned so far, how much money is in the piggy bank or the swear jar, and yeah. I'm Leah. I'm a filmmaker, surfer, dreamer, and lover of this planet, and I'm so happy to be with these amazing women here to discuss our plastic journey together.
I'm Carly. I live on Oahu right now. I'm here visiting some friends down in Southern California and ran into these ladies, so I'm happy to be here.
I'm Helen Scatini. I'm a snowboarder from Canada, but I live in California with Becky in the off season, and I'm here. I like to help try and be an ambassador with Changing Tides in this Plastic Swear Jar Challenge.
I am Becky Mendoza, co-founder of Changing Tides Foundation. I'm an action sports attorney, and I'm a lover of the ocean and of the planet and of these beautiful ladies. And yeah, we just pretty much wanted to go live, share a little bit of our experiences over the last few days since we started the Plastic Swear Jar Challenge, and talk about the challenges we faced and the things that we've learned, I think, and ways maybe that we can do better. So I wanted to ask you guys where everybody was this weekend. So Helen and I were together this weekend, but everybody was kind of doing different things. So starting the Swear Jar Challenge with our types of lifestyles, I think, is really interesting because you kind of never know where you're going to be, so it's very difficult to be prepared. So I kind of just wanted to hear everybody's different experiences based on where they were over the weekend. So
Sure.
Leah, why don't you start?
I was in Western Australia on West Oz's Earth Day, so that technically, I guess I get 8 days because I definitely wanted to start on Earth Day, so I did in Australia. And I was in Perth in the morning and went and had a coffee and didn't use plastic, which was awesome. But then we went shopping for food and forgot our bags. I was so beside myself that on the first day I'm like, here we are going to the market, and that's like the one sure thing is I always bring my tote bag. I'd love to, it's a core value now. And the way that I do catch myself saving a lot of plastic is using the tote bags. But on the first day, like, getting ready. There you go.
Scared
already. I mean, it was a family experience with the family that I was with, but still, it was like, all right, I'm counting that into my thing. But so then I got to the airport, and as we know, like traveling, there's a lot of waste in the airplane industry, and I always travel with my water bottle and fill it up. But so you get on the plane, and on long plane rides, they bring food out to you whether or not you want it or not, and you'll be sleeping and you'll wake up and your thing's down, there's a plate of food there, and there's like 5 little canisters all with a little plastic thing, and even though I don't want to eat any of that, that's still my plastic.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I'm looking at like a $10 meal in front of me.
Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, with my fork and then I'm not asking, you know, when they ask for water, I ask them to refill my bottle, so I'm not taking a cup. And I only asked once, and she almost filled up my whole bottle. She's like, I'm not allowed to do this. I'm like, thanks. But I watched everyone around me, you know, they make laps, and it was a long flight, a 15-hour flight. They probably served 6 drink services at least.
Right.
And almost every single person on that plane
That's uncut.
gets a new cup every time. That's not just like how many people are, at least 300 people on that, or 250 on a big plane like that.
Right.
Times that many times.
Yeah.
Like, we sweared a lot on that plane. But it really brought like paying attention to the individual plastic while I was on that plane made me realize just how impactful these large parts of society. Like, I was thinking, it made me think of like going to a theme park, and like every time you press the little like straw button to like pop out a new straw, those visions of the straw canisters started filling in my head. And just the corporations that exist are set up for such unconscious use of plastic.
Waste.
Wasteful
Yeah.
plastic for sense of sanitary, but a straw, give me a drink without a straw. I don't need a straw.
Or use a glass straw.
or use a glass straw, but in most cases,
Mhm.
I'd prefer not to drink out of a straw.
Yeah.
But
Right.
here it is, like everywhere you go, boom, boom. So, yeah, within the first 3 days, I'm $30 deep and I'm doing my best to like not,
Yeah, you're
You know?
already conscious.
and I'm already conscious. So yeah, it's been an eye-opening, challenging experience, because you see it everywhere. You see it even when you're being conscious about it.
Cool.
Yeah. Scary
Yeah.
and cool. It's great to
Yeah.
bring awareness to ourselves.
Yeah, it's
To our
really cool.
consciousness about it.
Yeah, to pay attention. Carly, what about you? What were you doing this weekend?
I was at my parents' house in Santa Cruz this weekend, so I felt like I did pretty well not using plastic, because we were just cooking meals at home. It was when I started preparing for my road trip down here to Southern California, and I went to New Leaf, our little local community market, and I had my reusable bag. I thought I was all ready to go, and I was like, I want to get some granola. And then I realized, oh, I'm going to fill up this plastic bag with granola. So I was like, okay, I'll sacrifice a swear for this one. I think I've been taking like twice as long in the grocery store ever since we started this challenge, because you think like, oh yeah, I got my basket, I got my bag, but then you realize that even though you're trying not to buy, you know, things that are individually wrapped, you can buy a bag of lettuce and it's like in a plastic bag or a plastic container. And so like yesterday, even when we were all together down here trying to get some vegetables, we had to like figure out what we're gonna do. We're just gonna throw them in like
Loose mushrooms.
loose vegetables.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny, but yeah, definitely the grocery store is a tough one. And then I packed a lunch and I had some containers. And then it was the next day that I wanted to pack another lunch for like my next trip on the road, and I didn't have anything to put the food in. So that was another swear right there. Another plastic bag or Ziploc bag. Yeah, I noticed, I think for me I noticed it's a lot of things that you don't necessarily think about. You know, you think about plastic coming from the food that you eat, and every time you eat something, okay, like maybe you're using plastic when you're on the go, but I noticed when Becky pointed out, okay, the hummus, you know, you're picking the plastic off of that, or a new jar of peanut butter with the seal. It's the little things that you don't notice, like when I bought kombucha bottle. I was like, oh, this is a glass bottle, no problem. And when I got home, I was like, oh, okay, the top's plastic. So
Yeah,
I mean,
well, there's
those
usually
are
little
the-
plastic wrappers around the plastic.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
like
why?
the little things like that. I went to wax my board the other day, and I opened up a new bar wax. Okay, well, sex wax has plastic, so that was another swear.
Right.
So yeah, that's been my experience so far. I've been trying to be prepared, but no matter how prepared you are, even if you bring all your utensils and your glass straw, your water bottle, there's going to be an occasional few that it's out of your
Totally.
control.
Totally.
So it's fun. It's been fun.
Yeah. Helen, what about you? Tell us about your weekend and your kickoff to the Plastic Sword Dart Challenge.
We went to Mexico this weekend, Becky and I, and we, I don't know, we kind of like prepared, we brought all our food, we were pretty conscious of all that stuff, using glass Tupperware, kind of just getting things like that, so I thought we were like on a roll, but as soon as you get down there, I don't know, a little bit of just like the language barrier, you know, you go to dinner and you ask for a drink with no straw and they bring the straw accidentally. And you're like, oh no, I didn't want a straw. And they're like, oh, sorry, they'll just grab it out and throw it away. So that's still $1 on you.
Yeah.
And it happened like 90% of the time. And so it's so infuriating. You're like, come on, like, you know, like once in a while they get it and then they forget and they don't realize that like, they just think we don't want a straw. But they're not realizing that as soon as they put it in there, then like that's just going into the garbage.
Wasteful, yeah.
Yeah, and then we went to a seafood festival, which was incredible, and we brought our utensils. So the fork came in the fork came in handy. Instead of using a plastic fork, with literally probably eating 40 different like oysters and things like that.
Yeah.
So that was so helpful, but then there's still, you know, little, I don't know, plastic little like oyster shot glasses or things like that. So
right.
just like without a doubt, like you're using it all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know, making a conscious effort and just kind of seeing what you're using and what you're not, I think is kind of the point of this challenge.
Yeah.
And so obviously by the end of this week, I hope us and all of you guys can kind of figure out how best to navigate through, I don't know,
Yeah.
grocery stores.
I think it's hard, especially when we go to foreign countries, because you know, sometimes it's like the water, you don't know if the water's safe to drink or not.
Yeah.
And so like for example, when we were in the seafood festival, you know, they gave you a glass for wine because it was a, you know, seafood and wine festival. So it's like, you know, I don't drink, and so I wanted to put water in my glass so bad, but there was really nowhere to get water.
Yeah.
You had to buy a water bottle, and you
Yeah.
couldn't bring in your own. So, you know, I found myself swearing there. You know, it was like I held out for as long as I possibly could, and then I was like, I'm gonna die. It was really hot.
Yeah.
And so that was a swear there. And it's just been really interesting to like, even just in talking to people about it, and a few of the people that we were with over the weekend who weren't necessarily participating in the Plastic Swear Dart Challenge when we met them, by the end of it, we're like, oh, this is a swear. Oh no, this is a swear, and this is a swear. So it was like, it was really cool to engage some people that were kind of like, not really like in the know on what was going on, and by the end of it, they were like, I owe you $5. You know, it was like all of a sudden they were like paying attention and looking at it, and so that was really, really neat about the weekend. I think it definitely pays to be prepared, but I think no matter how much you prepare, because I think we're all generally conscious environmentally, and just we're conscious of our waste, and even then it's like, it's not enough. But I think the purpose of this challenge hasn't been to strive for perfection. I think it's just to do our best and to pay attention. So I think even the fact that you're taking a little bit longer at the grocery store, at the end of it, like you do that 2 or 3 times and then you won't need to do that anymore. It's like you learn to make the changes there, and so that's really, really neat. I wanted to ask you guys a few more questions.
Yeah.
How have you guys been keeping track? I think I'll start with this one. It's been challenging to keep track of my swears, especially when you're on the road, and I think, you know, most of us are constantly on the road. For me, I've been trying my best to keep track on my cell phone. I kind of just have a notes section, and I've written down every single time I've sworn. And sometimes one swear is $3, you know, because if it's 3 different pieces of plastic attached to it, and I really don't think that anybody should be hard on themselves, depending on how they're keeping track. I think this is all about doing your best. So, you know, maybe some people want to count the salsa container, but maybe somebody else is going to reuse the salsa container as a takeaway container or whatever it is. So that's why when Carly was saying, you know, it's like the plastic thing that comes up above, for sure, for me, that's a swear.
Yeah.
You know, that is a single-use plastic, hands down. You cannot reuse that. It's, you know, but, you know, maybe some containers are reusable. Maybe some of those kombucha bottles, like you can refill, or, you know, use to harvest your own kombucha or make a juice or whatever it is. So it just kind of depends on how you want to judge the challenge. So I think part of being successful in this is not being super hard on yourself. And we're all new at this. We just created this challenge, so this is like our first round, our first go, and it's really, really cool. I feel really inspired, and I love that I'm paying attention to this, and I love that other people outside are watching us pay attention to this, you know?
I
So-
love how much other people that have taken on the challenge have been paying attention to it and putting like time and energy and getting extremely passionate about just this recognition, like, holy moly, we use so much plastic and it sucks.
Exactly.
Like, what do I do with this? Now I have this in my hand and I have really not much choice but to throw it away. I could stash it up and then keep a box of all this plastic, but then where's it gonna go? And that's what we're dealing with all over the world, is like, where does it go? What do we do with this? And it's ending up in our ocean. So yes, it's eliminating our use, and it's also helping to encourage, fund, and champion the projects that are going in to be able to recycle and repurpose all these different types of plastics.
Right.
And that's really also the benefit of the side of this, is like, it's gonna raise our awareness of the ways that we're gonna help clean this up.
Right.
Because that has to be an option. That
Yeah.
cannot not be an option.
Exactly.
There's so much of it that we have to figure out ways to use it.
Yeah. I feel like no matter who you are, doing this challenge is going to make you an activist.
Yeah.
Because it's like you then turn to realize like how, yeah, exactly how you're saying. Why are we being so wasteful? Like, I love the options and the convenience of Trader Joe's. I don't want to knock Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is great, but they wrap everything in plastic. And like, I think I noticed that before to an extent, but I didn't fully notice until I was going shopping for like my road trip goodies, like for our Mexico trip. Like, and then we went to Trader Joe's and I was like, oh my God, we're in trouble this weekend. You know what I mean? And so we kind of like had to, you know, same thing, pay attention. But yeah, I just think it's really interesting. And then of course it's difficult to keep track of.
Yeah.
Because so many little things. So I think that's a challenge. I mean, is that a challenge you guys have faced where it's like, it's kind of hard to keep track of the little, you know, like taking the little lid off the milk carton, or you know what I mean, or the milk bottle or whatever it is. It's like those little things add up. The other day I bought a picture frame. And the picture frame had a film of plastic on the front end and on the back end. That's 2 squares. And it was like totally unintentional. All I did was open a box, you know, and all of a sudden it was $2. So, you know, it's really, I think it's really interesting how, I guess like, I think one of the ways that I'd want to add to this challenge is devising a really easy way to keep track of the swears.
Yeah.
I
saw someone make a post and they were keeping a tally,
Yeah, that's what I was doing on my phone. Just
Yeah.
like writing.
but it was incredible how many tallies there were, and it was like they were having a challenge with their friends, so it was like more than one person's tally,
Oh, wow.
and so you could see this like grid, and you know, there was a lot of little sketch marks, and they're really paying attention to this challenge.
Right,
These are people that really, really care.
right.
So yeah, that it's been incredible, and as this thing grows, we'll continue to yeah, as you said, figure out different ways to help keep it accountable. I have been mentally keeping track and like counting up during the day how much that day cost me,
Yeah.
and there's been some $8 days, there's been some $12 days, and yeah, the travel day was big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Helen?
I have not been keeping track, but I have a rough estimate. I feel like around like the $20 for the last 4 days, 5
Yeah.
days. $25. Yeah, I think if anything, I'm like over exaggerating versus under because I would never want to.
Yeah. Well, you've been really good. I've been watching you.
I've been traveling and having to eat out, which I normally is so outside my norm. I like to cook every single meal for myself or for other people. so eating out, I've found that's where it just stings you.
Yeah.
And can I purchase that bamboo set? Because I gave mine away, and
Yes.
this challenge is actually really challenging without the tools that you need in order to help save you in places. But as you said, a lot of times I'd be like, I don't need a fork, and then you look, and they've given you a fork and a spoon and a knife.
Yeah, or you just get a container and they like just put it in
Yep.
there. You know, like they just put in a plastic fork or a plastic, you know, it's like you're inevitably swearing. Or like things, if you go to Mexican, like all the little
Yeah,
salsas
exactly.
that come in, like does that count as two? Does that count as one?
That's what
It's
I
like
was
a little
referring to.
bit,
I went to
and
Mexican food, and oh gosh, I paid $15 for the whole meal, but then I add my swears onto it, and it's a $25 meal.
Totally.
Expensive.
Totally.
Yeah. But the point of this is not to not to beat yourself up, and for us, it's not to try and raise as much money as possible. It's just to bring awareness to how much we're using this crap. The benefit of having a jar fill up is that you can see with your own eyes. I think the earth, cries a lot more than $1 every time we use the plastic.
Exactly. I agree with you. I certainly think that, it's for us, it's because I will be donating my plastic swear jar money to Changing Tides Foundation. I get happy when the jar is full, but it's kind of like a catch-22 because we don't want the jar to be full, right?
Right. The goal is
the
jar to be
the-
empty.
For the jar to be empty.
Applaud you.
Exactly.
Yes, if you can do that with the truth and that is the challenge, is to stay true with ourselves too.
Exactly.
And keep ourselves accountable.
Exactly.
So it's not like we can give away prizes for who does the least, because who's to say?
Yeah.
But accountability goes with everyone. It's not for anyone else that any of us are doing the challenge. It's for our own self-growth and our own commitment to the earth and our own commitment to becoming more and more aware, even more so when this challenge is over.
Right. And I think, we've been talking about this and want everybody to understand that the reason that we've created this challenge is not to say, okay, if you didn't join us on Earth Day for our 7 days, that's it, you're out of the challenge. It's actually an ongoing thing. We want everybody to make the challenge their own challenge. You can do 1 day, you can do 3 days, you can do 7 days, 30 days, you can take it to your, Carly, I believe, set up a plastic swear jar in her dad's office and went in and spoke to all the employees and explained to them what it was about and printed a little poster and put it up with the rules, which is really great. This is, I think, looking ahead, I think that this is a way where people can advocate really in their workplace and
Sure.
in their school or in their home and really engage their neighbors or whoever it is, and just say, hey, every time you use a piece of plastic, single-use plastic, then you gotta put $1 in the jar. That's kind of like our rule. And I think it's just little by little, we can help to spread the word.
Sure.
And more so spread the word about paying attention.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, right? So another thing I wanted to talk about are the tools that we have been able to use to minimize our swearing. And yeah, I think we have some of them on the table here. If you guys want to share what you have. I
haven't had.
Yeah. Well, we gotta get you a new set.
These happy things.
Yeah. So Carly, why don't you show us your kit?
So we have here. I actually just stuck this in there. This is the Simple Straws glass straw. So this is great to have when you order a smoothie when you're out. You can reuse that. And then we have a spoon, a fork, and a pair of chopsticks. So this will work for any sort of meal that you have on the go. So this is really great. You can bring some water, rinse it off afterwards, and at the end of the day, wash with soap and water, I recommend, and then put it back in your purse or backpack, and then that way you won't forget it wherever you go.
Right. And we luckily have these branded with Changing Tides Foundation. If you're interested, you can go on our web shop and purchase a set. The Simply Straws come separate. We sell some mug mason jar combos and some venti mug combos as well. And then Helen, tell us about your water bottle.
Mizu Changing Tides Foundation water bottle. I carry this with me everywhere. I feel like it saves, like you said, on the airplane. Like this has probably saved me over $100 of swears. You know, like over the course of like the last year or however long I've had it. Probably even in the last 3 months. You know, like when you're on planes, and you're just like cruising, road trips, anything. Like you just like get water in here and you're good to go.
Yeah, and then we just got these guys in. I was using another one before that was unbranded, but we just got these Changing Tides Foundation reusable bags. We co-branded with Baguito. And yeah, we just got these up for sale on the site as well. And I think these are a huge kicker. They're so little, you can like strap them to your belt buckle, you can throw them in your car. I keep mine in my little pouch. I have like a little clutch purse and I always keep mine in my purse, and every single time I like go to the grocery store or like even just any other kind of shopping or like even the post office, like I kind of just shove my stuff in there, carry it as a little bag, and then I can stuff it into itself, and that's really nice too. So I feel like, in my opinion, the biggest culprits are plastic bags, the straws, the cups, the utensils, and anything that's like plastic wrapping. So we are trying some different alternatives right now. I just purchased some bees wrap, which is an alternative to saran wrap, and it kind of just, you can kind of seal things with the heat of your own hands. It's all natural. And there's another company called Kala Cloths, which is sending us some as well to test them out, and hopefully we may be able to offer those as an option as well. But we have a little plastic swear jar bundle available for sale on our site as well. And all the proceeds obviously benefit Changing Tides Foundation. So just had to plug that there.
Yeah, cool.
And then I think in closing, and my last question to you girls is, I feel like we've addressed this a little bit, but moving forward, and like kind of past this challenge, like how do you feel that this challenge, it's not over yet, but how do you feel this challenge has already affected your decisions? Carly?
I mean, I think you have to, when I think about you talking about Trader Joe's and Trader Joe's is, in my eyes, significantly less expensive than other grocery stores. And sometimes you have to think about, your environmental choices, and it's a tough decision between money and environmental. Like you could go to Trader Joe's and buy $200 worth of food and it's all wrapped in plastic, and that could be $100 cheaper than buying the same amount of food from another grocery store without any plastic. Even though you're bringing your own reusable bag, and that, like, it's interesting. You're actually spending more money when you're saving plastic sometimes.
Right.
And
well,
that's
now
what's shocking.
even with the plastic, if you're playing the plastic swear jar challenge, right?
Yeah.
If you're participating and you go to Trader Joe's,
Then it
then
evens
forget
itself
about that
right
$100
out.
you
Yeah.
saved. It's gonna
Yeah.
even right back up. So that's really interesting.
Unbelievable. So that was one of my thoughts. Definitely still trying to get people involved. I think like it's helped me to be a lot more conscious about everything outside the box from just eating, and being on the road. But people seem like they don't have the time. They don't really want to think about it. It's like too much for them. But it's like, well, if that's too much, then are you just saying that you can't? The earth is too much, like for you to pay attention to. It's like it's really interesting. It's like I'm not trying to be harsh, because it's like definitely we're just all trying to do our best here. But it seems like it's a good idea for everyone to be extra cautious. So
Cool. I feel like a couple of people have mentioned to me, Leah talked about it, Carly has talked about it as well, like with the airlines. It's like, how can we lobby the airlines? It's like, these are the things when you're in the situation and all of a sudden it's costing you money, you're like, wait, so how can we lobby the airlines to do this?
The whole system needs to change.
Exactly. And some of our friends that we were just with over the weekend, the same friends that kind of joined into the challenge while they were with us, they are firefighter paramedics, and and they're constantly in the hospital. And in the hospitals, every single thing gets thrown away.
Yeah.
Like if they open a scalpel, that gets discarded. It used to be that they would disinfect them and reuse them. Now everything gets thrown away. So that includes, of course, plastics. And think about how many meals are brought to people and how many little plastics, like the little fruit cocktail or whatever, you know what I mean? Like how many different things are covered and wrapped in plastic.
Plastic companies are making a lot of money.
The
And
latex
are they
gloves.
paying the tax for that?
Yeah.
Are they-
Yeah.
Are they funding the reuse of these things?
Yeah.
Because I think that might be something that we have to force them into action, you know? We all have to be accountable, but I think that this challenge will help put us in contact with and help bring us into more awareness of how these things are actually making their way into society, and in what ways can the mass people help to insist that we change the way.
Exactly.
Because that's what has to happen. Like, we're all waking up and then we're gonna go, wait a minute, not anymore,
Right.
no more. Like, we're gonna have alternatives, and the alternatives are gonna kick ass and we're gonna take over.
Right.
Looking at the bigger picture and seeing like what needs to be changed in the regulations.
Yeah.
Like why, when we're on the airplane, why can't we use our reusable water bottle when they're filling it up? Why is that a germ? Why is that an issue of sanitation? And why can't you bring your reusable container to the restaurant and have them put it in your reusable container for to go instead of
Right.
just bringing, you know, another plastic?
I had that issue at I
So-
wanted my smoothie inside of this, and I couldn't get the smoothie inside of this. In another grocery store I went to, actually locally, I wanted a kombucha. They have kombucha on tap there, and I ordered a kombucha. It was in a plastic cup. This is before my swear jar challenge, but yes, it was in a plastic cup, and I was very aware of it. I asked for no straw and no lid, and they said they couldn't not give me a plastic lid. So there's that. Another thing that's really interesting is a lot of people are I'm just going to bring this up because we've kind of been trying to move towards having zero plastic waste events whenever we have a fundraiser or whenever we're collaborating with people. And so we've done some events that are BYO cup, right? Like bring your own cup. And it's just really, really interesting that, you know, certain places and certain people, like, basically when they bring their own, they just realize that it's not a big deal, and it's actually pretty cool to have like your own cup from your house, you know. But when I was initially researching to do a plastic-free event, I thought, okay, well, I'll buy some compostable plastic, right? So I was going to buy cups that are made out of corn, but it's like corn that is made, you know, creates a plastic. So then I realized, and I didn't know this before, that unless you recycle those cups in a facility that can handle compostable recyclables, they actually don't get recycled. So there's none in San Diego. There's no facility that can handle vegetable plastics. So essentially we're doing what we think is a green thing, but those, they don't even get recycled, they end up in a landfill. So those, in order to compost, they need air, oxygen. And they will not compost if they don't have that, and so they end up becoming compacted. So the environmental organizations in San Diego will tell you, if you really want to be the closest to zero plastic, buy recycled plastic cups that you can then re-recycle. But they're only made really out of 20% recycled materials. And so that wasn't good enough for what we were looking to do, so we ended up just getting these little stainless steel cups and branding them and making them available for sale at the event, which was super great. But I think looking at things from even like a level beyond, right? Like, for example, like our utensils, they come in this material, right? But this was all made from plastic water bottles. Like this baguito, this entire thing was made out of plastic that gets recycled. So it's like we're contributing, hopefully, as much as we can to the solutions
To this
instead of the
recycling
problem
process.
from like, and we're, you know, by no means are we perfect. This certainly is not made from recycled, you know, materials. Like there's, you know, things that we all use that are probably not the best for the environment. But insofar as what we're actively trying to do, I think it's like being able to look beyond just like saying, okay, well the bamboo, all right, well, where's all this made? And how much waste is being produced when this is all made? So this is like going a step deeper, and it's kind of just, it's what happens when you start to pay attention, right?
So glad we're all paying attention.
Exactly. Really feels like we're all paying attention. We're really, really stoked to have had so many people come out of the woodwork and participate. So many athletes and ambassadors and friends and friends of friends and strangers and everybody who has kind of come on and decided to take this challenge, and we're so overwhelmed with the response, and we're so proud of everybody, and we keep getting these Insta stories and getting tagged in things, and it's so, like, every single day when I see that, it warms my heart.
Yeah,
It
it's
makes
really
me
cool.
so happy. It's like overwhelming and super beautiful. We're hoping to do the plastic swear jar challenge at least once a quarter. We'll be announcing, so make sure you follow us on Instagram at Changing Tides Foundation and on Facebook. And if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, sign up on changingtidesfoundation.org. And hopefully we'll be able to kind of recreate the challenge or continue to improve the challenge every time it comes around, and have more and more people join us for our challenge. But like we said, it's not it's not fixed. You have to do it from this day to this day. The challenge is ongoing. Feel free to make it your own. We're just super, super stoked to have people paying attention. So yeah,
Cheers to a better world.
cheers to a better
Cheers.
world.
Cheers.
Less waste, less plastic. Thank you guys for taking the time.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
guys
joining
all
us.
for joining us. We're super stoked. Happy swear jar challenge.
Good job.
Thanks.
You too.
Wonderfully.
I didn't say what I did or who it was because I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'm in between jobs. I guess I'll just skip that.
I'm just
Carly,
like, I'm Grum.
You're a Grom.
I am Carly.
No, more than you being a Grom,